So how is Nano made? Nano is made, a fancy name, Nano-Emulsified. It's just a simple emulsified product. The difference between Nano-Emulsified and, say, salad dressing is use a piece of equipment called a ultrasonicator. This is a device that will sonicate or vibrate in the oil emulsification mix and water, lots of water at incredibly high velocities. This breaks up the particles, coats them in the emulsification agent, and allows them to remain as individual particles, suspended, not dissolved, in the water itself. A couple of problems with the chemicals that are used in a nano-emulsification process. The first one is the major emulsification manufacturers don't even want to tell you what's in there. I don't know if they feel that this is proprietary or there are preservatives or other kind of unpalatable chemicals that they put in there. They can include oils, they can include sugars, they can include bitter blockers, all sorts of things that they can add, and according to FDA rules, not even have to tell you. The second problem with nano-emulsification is it uses water, lots of water. And the problem with water is twofold. One, it's going to dilute everything. Two, bacteria love water. In fact, without water, you almost never get bacteria or any sort of other contamination. When you manufacture a product with a lot of water, you introduce a lot of risk of introducing things that you don't want in your product, including bacteria. The third problem with nano-emulsification is that if you want to turn it into a powder, you have to remove all of that water, sometimes 90–95% of its water. This process is slow, it's tedious, it takes a lot of time and energy. This costs more and more money to manufacture a powder. Once you finally get the water removed, you will have a powder that can be used in foods or beverages or things of that nature. Typically, nano-emulsified products have a very kind of chemically sweet or off-tasting flavor. This is the actual emulsification agent and the bitter blockers and other products that they put into the material. You're going to taste these. They often have a very sickly sweet or chemically sweet taste to them that's often unpalatable, or the manufacturer or bottler has to take further steps to hide that taste. So Cbd Isolate, that is the isolated form of the cannabinoid CBD, is a great product. It can be used in a lot of different things. It's a powder, it's free-flowing, and it's very easy to mix into a variety of different products, from hand sanitizers to even ingestibles. But there's a couple of really big problems with Cbd Isolate. The first problem is it's just that, an isolate. It's just CBD. And to really get the full effect of the cannabinoids, everybody knows that you want to be able to enjoy the entourage effect. You want to have those other cannabinoids, even if they're in minor, relatively minor percentages, to help aid that CBD or that cannabinoid function like it's supposed to. You're just not going to get the full benefits from the Cbd Isolate. The second problem with Cbd Isolate, and the really big problem, is that it is an FDA-approved drug. And by FDA rules, long-standing FDA rules, you cannot put a drug in a food or nutraceutical product. Cannot do it. My job before entering the hemp industry was actually in forensics. We did, of course, mostly controlled substance testing under state and federal DEA rules. Was this a controlled substance? Was it an amount that is a misdemeanor or felony level? What kind of drug was it? How was it manufactured? How was it distributed? So the problem with Cbd Isolate versus a broad spectrum or full spectrum distillate is nothing new. This has happened before in U.S. history, and the FDA has always held the rule that if it's an isolated pharmaceutical from a particular product, it can be a drug. However, if it's a natural extract, then it's approved for use for nutraceuticals or foods. BioDry is really unique, and we're really excited about it because it is a #1 ingredient, a broad spectrum hemp distillate. It's not an isolate, it's not a manufactured product. We take natural, wholesome, THC-free hemp distillate and we turn it into a powder. In fact, the #1 ingredient is distillate. And instead of nano-emulsification, which is a weak, highly manufactured, questionable product, we use all natural ingredients, vegan ingredients. No harsh chemicals, artificial, nothing in the product. It microencapsulates the hemp oil, not only microencapsulates it, but it microencapsulates it in a shell that is impervious to the damages that can occur in the stomach. It keeps that molecule intact and protected until it hits the small intestines. Once it adheres to the lining of the intestinal walls, that shell breaks down, again with natural chemicals and their natural ingredients, and releases the oil right into the intestines, therefore getting into your bloodstream more intact and at a higher percentage. Hemp bake mix is great. It's a great product. Like BioDry, it's made with an all-natural hemp distillate, not a CBD isolate. It has all the minor cannabinoids that you would expect to have. But it's formulated in a percentage and in a grain size that is perfect for baking. It's about the same grain size and density as flour, which means that you can mix it in evenly and know it's going to stay mixed in evenly in that flour mix. Once you add your oils or your egg or your milk, then you can make any sort of product that you want. From brownies to donuts to pancakes to bread, they all do very well with the hemp bake mix. Best thing at all about hemp bake mix is you don't have to change your recipe. You can take grandma's brownie mix, mix in a teaspoon of the hemp bake mix, and suddenly you've got a CBD-rich, cannabinoid-rich baked product that grandma would love.